Greetings. This screencast is being recorded to show American Literature and Honors American Literature students how they can download and use the program Adobe Reader to do some pretty cool things in our class. So first, let's show you how to download Adobe Reader. Adobe Reader is a free program, and to get this program, you need to go to the website that I have pulled up right now on my screen. It's get.adobe.com/reader/other versions. And if you go to this website, you will have the choice to choose basically which type of Adobe Reader you need depending on the type of computer you have. So you first have to start by selecting an operating system. If you are on a student laptop, your operating system is Windows 8. Then you need to select a language, which I'm assuming will be English. And last, you choose the version. The most updated version of Reader is 11.0.08, so I'm assuming that's the version you would download. And then this yellow Download Now button pops up and you click on it to download Adobe Reader. Now, a word of caution, if it prompts you to download any other free programs with Adobe Reader, I would not do that. Not that those programs would harm your computer, but you just don't need them. The only free program we need to download is Adobe Reader. So once Reader is downloaded and on your computer, you can use Reader to not only read any PDF files, but actually take notes into your reading or mark up any PDF files, which is pretty cool. And there's several reasons why you might want to do that in our American Literature, Honors American Literature classes. So the first way that you would probably use this is, I'm going to enter our textbook now. So I'm actually in our American Literature, Honors American Literature textbook. And I just opened it up to a reading. I opened it up to the Declaration of Independence. One thing I wanted to show you about our textbook is, with every reading, on the left-hand side, you have your your menu in blue on the left-hand side of the screen. For every reading, there is at the very top a link called Accessible Pages. And if you click that link, it will open up a PDF file of the reading for that week. Okay? And in order to save this PDF file on your computer, you just come down here and this little menu pops up and you click the little, looks like a floppy disk icon to save it onto your computer. Now, once it is saved on your computer, you could do your reading offline. So you don't have to be connected to the internet to do your reading. The other reason I like to do my reading sometimes in these PDF files is because, look, I can click and drag these nice and big and clear on my screen so that the reading is a little bit bigger. Some students complain that the reading in the textbook's a little small, so in the PDF file you can make the reading as big as you want and it's nice and clear. So that's one benefit of reading in a PDF file. The other thing is, if you open this in Adobe Reader, then you can actually mark it up. You can underline, highlight, add notes, etc., which is what I'm going to show you next. The only disadvantage to reading a piece from your textbook in a PDF file in Adobe Reader is that you don't have any audio. So the other, obviously if you read in our textbook, there's a little audio button that's linked into our textbook so you can actually listen to the reading being read to you. If you're using Adobe Reader, you can't do that. So if you'd rather have listened to your readings, then use our textbook. If you don't want to listen, if you just want to read and take notes, you could click on Accessible Pages, download the PDF, and then use Adobe Reader. So let me show you how to use Adobe Reader to mark up a reading. So I'm going to open one up here. There we go. This is the reading that we just had. We were just looking at. It's Declaration of Independence. And now I have opened it in Adobe Reader. Notice how nice and big and clear it is. So I'm going to scan down till we actually start the piece. There it is. This is the beginning of the piece, the Declaration of Independence. So there's a couple ways that you can take notes in Adobe Reader. In order to begin to take notes, you need to come over to the top right-hand side of the screen and click on the comment link. And this opens up an annotation tools. To annotate just means to take notes. So these are all the tools you would use to take notes. So the most basic tool that you can use is the highlighter tool. So if I click on that highlighter tool, I can then bring it over and just grab any bit of text and highlight it. Okay, so that's one way to take notes. You could also use the little drawing kind of pencil tool and bring it over and just underline anything, or you could circle a word. You could kind of make your own little notes by actually just writing on your screen. That's another option. A third option is to use the sticky notes right here. This little icon that looks like a little thought bubble is technically a sticky notes annotation tool. It kind of works like a post-it note, sticking a post-it note into a book. If I click on the sticky notes icon, I need to then put it where I want to take a note. So say I want to take a note at the end of this line right here, I'll click. A little sticky notes icon appears, and there's my box where I can type my note. So this is my sample note. Okay, my note's there. If I click off of it, it disappears, but to bring it back up again, I just double click on my little yellow sticky notes icon and my note appears again. And that little yellow icon now stays there to remind me I have a note there. That's another way to take notes. One final way you can take notes is actually you can leave, rather than a sticky note, you can leave an audio note. So to do that, you click on the little speaker, looks like an icon with a speaker, and then a little blue sticky note icon over it. And again, you just drag it to wherever you want to leave the note. So say I want to leave a note right here. The little record screen pops up. It automatically should connect to your computer's internal microphone. So if I click record, I'm now recording a sample note. Stop. Now let's hear if we can see if we can hear my note. Oh, first it asks me what kind of icon I want my note to look like. I'll just leave it as a little speaker. That's fine by me. All right, I'm going to double click on the speaker now. Let's see if we can hear my note. I'm now recording a sample note. There we go. So you just have to double click on the speaker icon and you can hear your audio note. A word of caution, these audio notes do take up a lot of space. So if you don't want your document to become huge, I wouldn't leave a lot of audio notes, and whatever audio notes you do leave, they should be short. You shouldn't, ramble on and on for 5 minutes, because that's going to make this file huge because you're leaving a huge audio note in the file. So those are all the ways that you can then take notes within a PDF using Adobe Reader. Now, one thing you need to do before you exit this, if you wanted to save these notes, you have to come up to the top and say File, go down to Save As, and actually save the file so that all your notes will remain in the file. Now, you can use Adobe Reader to, as I just showed you, take notes into a reading from our textbook. But you can do other things as well, and I'm going to encourage you to do other things for our class as well. Rather than just taking notes from a textbook, we can also, I'm just going to pull up another little PDF here. Sometimes in our class I have linked something called adaptive readers. These exist not for every single reading in our textbook, but for some of the readings. I like the adaptive readers because if I scan down into the actual text, I just grabbed an adaptive reader for a poem, okay, for one of Emily Dickinson's poems, Because I Could Not Stop for Death. I like these adaptive readers because before you read, it gives you a nice bit of background information about the writer and also the poem. It gives you the poem itself, or the text itself. If it wasn't a poem, if it was an essay, you'd see the essay here. You can take notes right into this poem or essay just like I just showed you in the Declaration of Independence by just clicking the comment, little button there. You could open up your tools and take notes again. But also linked into the adaptive readers is at the end of each reading, there's a little section that says in other words, so it kind of summarizes the reading for you, which I really like. And it also asks you little questions along the side that you can answer. Now, how would you answer these along the side on these lines in a PDF? Actually, what you can do is you can just type right onto the document. So if you click on this little T for text icon, it'll pop up your little text screen here that you can move around, and wherever you click on the page that you want to add your text, you can start typing. I can change the color, I'll make it red, and I can just start typing my answer. My answer is, and you can type your answer to the questions that they're asking you right there on the screen. And then again, if you want to save your notes, you have to come up to File and Save As. So these adaptive readers are really nice, and I've linked them into the class for some readings. Feel free to use these in Adobe Reader so that you can answer the questions, as you're reading. One final way that you're probably going to be using Adobe Reader is to complete grammar worksheets. Okay, these grammar worksheets are linked into our class as PDFs. You have to download them, and then you can open them in Adobe Reader. And like I have this worksheet open right now, this is a commas worksheet. So basically all you're doing is adding commas into these sentences. So the easiest way to do this, really, if you think about it, is just to grab your pen here, come under comments and grab your pen, and now I can add comments, I can add commas wherever I want. So if I want a comma there, I can add them in. Okay, if I think a sentence is correct and I want to write a C there, I write a C there. So you can actually use the drawing tool to go through the grammar worksheets yourself. If it was a worksheet where you actually had to type a question or type a sentence, you could just use your text tool and type the sentence right into the worksheet. So you can complete all grammar worksheets using Adobe Reader as well. So I hope that you found this tutorial enlightening, and I hope that you'll be able to use Adobe Reader to do several different things within the American Literature and Honors American Literature class. If you have any questions, please contact your teacher.